Hey guys, it's me, Kim. So look, these Fyre Festival documentaries, I had no desire to watch these freaking documentaries until I saw people on social media talking about them. That is the power of social media. I never would have dedicated 3 hours of my life to watching documentaries about a festival that I didn't even know existed until all the shit went down 2 years ago. But I saw people talking about them and how shocking they were and how they couldn't believe all this stuff had happened. So I'm morbidly curious. Curiosity got the best of me. So I'm going to do a review as fast as I can. I got notes though, obviously. Notes are my thing. The first thing that I watched is called Fyre Fraud. That's the one on Hulu. My first notion when I was watching this was, I have to say, there is on the iPhone that app that tracks your screen time. My screen time from a month ago at this time is way down. Like, it's decreased like 100%. Is it possible for something to decrease by 100%? No, right? Anyways, it's decreased by at least, no, because if it decreased 100%, it would be 0. Okay, anyways, it's decreased by like 75%. I spend so much less time on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and I have to say, I've probably spent the least time on social media than I have in like 10 years, like legitimately, and I feel better, more productive, happier than I have in probably 10 years. I mean, obviously correlation is not causation. I don't know, right? It could just be all in my head, psychosomatic. But I absolutely believe that spending less time getting upset at people on social media has just helped me in so many ways. Like, I am one of those people now. Cut the cord, cut the cord, cut it out. I didn't love how right in the beginning, whoever was doing the voiceover was like, it's poor kids in their parents' basement. They want to feel like they're a part of something. So this was their opportunity. And I was like, poor kids in their parents' basement, we're not going to Fyre Fest. I don't know what you're talking about right now, sir. That's like a general social media FOMO. But if we're talking about Fyre Festival, the festival that had $50,000 packages, it ain't poor folks. So I watched Fyre Fraud 2 times because the first time I wasn't really looking. And the second time that I watched it, I was like, you know what? I feel like we have missed a memo about it being okay to start small. You know, Fyre Festival and Billy Cunningham, the crazed CEO behind Fyre Fraud, I just think he had this obsession with big and better and scale, and we get that obsession from our tech culture. It's got to be 100 times. We have to do 100x, and we have to have 100,000 views. And it's like, no, why don't we just build up something slowly, and then you don't have to go to prison for 6 years for scamming people out of $25 million. Little scams, you know? Why are your scams so big? Why? My first thought was they played that call where somebody at Fyre was like, should we have to be worried about the FBI? And I thought, well, if you're asking, then yeah, you need to be worried about the FBI. Billy's girlfriend. Now, I don't know, this was before he went to prison, so I don't know if they're still together, but I hope that they are not. Girl, women need to jump ship. We need to be socialized to jump ship. I'm gonna make that a part of my work and my activism. Girl, if he's going to 6 years for fraud and wire fraud, it's okay to say, you know what? I'm gonna leave this alone. Why don't we resume in 6 years? I was like, Anastasia, don't waste your blonde hair and thin body on this man in prison. Don't do that. The next thing was when they were talking about just getting this festival up and running and the cost of these packages. Why people have too much money. Why people have too much money. You're wasting the wealth that your parents and your grandparents didn't earn on Fyre Festival. For real, y'all have too much money. It's ridiculous. Billy Cunningham looked guilty in every single picture I saw of him. Every single photo, every video clip, he looked guilty as fuck. When people in both of these documentaries were like, he was the best salesman, I'm like, that would not have sold me anything, because he looked like he wasn't right. But maybe that's just hindsight talking, but I saw it. You know what this really reminded me of? The fact that Silicon Valley is honestly full of dweebs. Silicon Valley is for real revenge of the nerds, and Billy Cunningham was one of those nerds who was gonna make up for his past life as a dweeb in being rich, and like that was the drive. We see that so like all across these white dudes who like had to pay their prom dates, and now they're back and rich, and it's like, okay, fine. He just had like dead eyes, and he had like a weird smile. He always looked uncomfortable in his body. This is obviously not a man who was cool. Obviously, I understand what it means to be kind of awkward, but it emanates, and it's so obvious that he's just he was or is, well, he's still alive. He's just behind bars now. But he was one of those people who was trying to compensate for the fact that he was never going to be charming. He was never going to get the girls. Anastasia, girl, okay. He was never going to be any of these things, you know. He was not, the only marker of traditional masculinity that was going to be open to him was making a lot of money. I also thought when Billy was talking about how even in second grade he was trying to sell stuff, it reaffirmed for me something that I really believe, that entrepreneurs are born. I feel like I was a born entrepreneur. When I was 8 years old, I wrote in my diary, like, I am gonna own a business. I think that there is an innate thing about rebelling against authority. I've never been into that. About a desire to be in control. I'm also a control freak. I'm a high anxiety person. That means that like that weaves into the control freak thing. I just feel like when you, and also, do you listen to this podcast? I don't know why I'm talking to you like you gonna be able to respond to me, but I listen to this podcast, How I Built This, and it's just so clear to me that there's just like a certain kind of person. Obviously, you have to have a safety net, you have to have certain resources, but there's a certain kind of personality that entrepreneurs often have. Billy has that now. It got him sent to the penitentiary. But, you know, when you hear somebody talking about selling stuff at school in second grade, it's like, oh, okay, I recognize that. So I'm from Oklahoma, as we all know, and when Aubrey McClendon showed up in this documentary, I was like, oh, I know where this is going. This is going bad. Aubrey McClendon used to be the CEO of Chesapeake Energy, which is like a huge employer still in Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City Thunder play at the Chesapeake Energy Arena. They go into this, and they go into his mysterious death. Well, basically, we all know now that he killed himself in his car. He swerved into a median or whatever, and his car exploded. Now, first of all, I didn't even know cars just exploded like that. Now, I don't know if you had to rig up the car, but that car was incinerated. So, I don't know. Anyways, he killed himself because he was going to go to prison. So, the other thing about Billy Cunningham being so drawn to Aubrey McClendon was scammers love each other. A scammer can find another scam. Like, it's so, do you know any scammers? Because they roll in packs. Scammers can find each other. They can spot each other out in a crowd. And it's not surprising to me at all that Aubrey McClendon found Billy Cunningham and they have this relationship. Not at all. And you know who else is a scammer? Ja Rule. Now, in the Fyre Fraud documentary, they kind of minimized his participation. They kind of gave him an out to say, well, I was just the celebrity phase and I didn't know anything about it. But still, that clip of Ja Rule on Fox Business where when he is with Billy Cunningham talking about the Magnesis card, which actually the card looked kind of cute, by the way. I want a metal card. That would be cute. And the host asked him a question and he just went off saying some nonsense. You didn't know you were gonna be on TV talking about your business, Ja Rule? You didn't want to put together any talking points? You're on here supposed to be talking about a credit card or a debit card, and you want to try to talk to us about hip hop in your 3-piece suit? What is your problem? I was just like, what is the problem? What are you doing? Bad investments are gonna come. That's an inevitability. But just how asinine this entire scheme was and how willing Ja Rule was to just sign up for these schemes. It's like, what are you chasing the money? Are you chasing the clout? Do you just like to be next to rich white people? Like, what is going on? It doesn't make any sense to me, especially when these people love to brag about how street smart they are. And it's like, I'm not street smart, but I can see in that man's eyes that he's a scammer. So what? So y'all just scamming together is what you're telling me. You just wanted a scam buddy. But to balance out the foolishness of Ja Rule, we got Delroy. Shout out to Delroy. He is the hero of this documentary, and I just appreciated the ethos from which he approached this entire situation. Delroy was like, look, this ain't gonna work. I'm gonna tell you as much as I can that this is not gonna work. This is what you need to do. But if you're giving me a check, I'll keep showing up. I understand. Sometimes you just have to say, look, y'all are stupid, but the bills are due. I so related to Delroy being able to sit back now and being like, listen, I told these people. And I believe him. I do not believe that he's making this up at all. I believe Delroy told these people, what the fuck? Oh, this also just, reaffirmed for me that I don't want to be an influencer. They made, in both of these documentaries, influencers just look so stupid. Like, it's just such a stupid, nonsensical thing. I like to do this work. I like to talk to y'all. I like to have conversations, but I don't want to be no influencer. No shade if that's what you're into, but for me, it's just not what I desire to do. At this point, I wrote in all caps, festivals take years to plan. Years. So you're telling me that you didn't do any research, is what you're saying. You didn't do no research. You decided that you just had this idea. You weren't gonna do any Googles. You weren't gonna consult anybody. You weren't gonna read any books. You were just gonna go into this completely blind and take hundreds. These tickets and these packages were like, some of them were like $100,000, $250,000. The hubris of this. Now, I'm not somebody who really believes that you have to like have out a full business plan, but you didn't do a Google search. Come on, Billy. I also have, I think a big part of millennial culture is about performing fun. And I'm gonna harp on the fact that I have taken a step back from social media, but that's a big part of my life because I was so addicted to social media. I was so addicted to documenting every single idea and every single move and every single part of my life, and it is still hard for me. I mean, we're only on week 3, but I did feel myself performing fun. I had a lot of fun, but I also had to perform it. And that's like an extra job. That's an extra thing. And a big theme of Fyre Fraud was about the performance and how Billy was so invested in getting the right visuals, packaging it right, getting the right social media. And the man from Fuck Jerry or Jerry Media, who was basically a whistleblower because they are trying to deny it. But so much of that is just about architecting it and what the facade. And it's like, oh, girl, who has time? Social media is filled with scams. Social media is filled with scams. And somebody in the documentary said that they had weaponized social media. And it's so interesting. Like, this is probably done after we know what we know. Oh, obviously it's done because we've been in Trump world for over 2 years now. So obviously this was done after the 2016 election, but there are so many ways to weaponize social media, and some of that is political, and some of it is you feel like you need to buy this thing that you don't have money for, or you feel like you need to have this experience to put it on the gram. You're playing into or preying on people's insecurities. When they started talking about the social media strategy and getting literally hundreds of influencers to put up that video with the orange square, I thought, I have never seen that orange square in my life. How have I never seen this orange square in my life? Look, there are two worlds, okay? We live in two Americas, because I never even heard of Fyre Fest. Somebody needs to study that. Somebody needs to study digital segregation, because that is a thing. Cite me. Back to Ja Rule, I wrote, I feel like this is what happens when you're a little bit too eager to hang out with white people. But maybe that wasn't it. Maybe he was just greedy. But it's like, this was a sinking ship. There were, look, even if you don't have access to the books, nobody did. Somebody in the other one said that Billy kept tight control of the finances. Even if, and I'm talking about Ja Rule right now, even if you can't see the books, when you go to the Bahamas and see that there's no infrastructure, y'all are trying to build something on an island with no infrastructure. What questions are you asking? This goes back, and this is back to the R. Kelly thing. Why are you not asking questions? Your name is on this. Why are you not asking, Billy, where are people gonna shower? Where are the restrooms gonna be? How many people can fit on this island? How many restaurants or whatever? This is greed. You don't ask the questions because you're greedy. That's it. I also wrote, I want to go to Pig Island. I want to go to the Bahamas now. These documentaries were great promo for the Bahamas. I want to go. I want to go to Pig Island. I want to swim in the blue water. I want to go to Pablo Escobar's island. I want to give the lady from the other documentary, I want to give her some money. Let's go to the Bahamas in 2019. How is it that nobody did any Google searches? Nobody did any Google searches. You didn't even Google to see if there was anything else going on in the island on those dates? You planned this huge festival on the only time of the year that this island is gonna have tons of people? Fucking stupid. And these stupid ass people got millions of dollars to do this stupid shit. Like, that is what is so annoying. Y'all don't even Google and y'all got millions. It's like, oh my god, it's annoying. So I noticed that Billy was really into using one fraud to fund another fraud, and I feel like a lot of companies do that. So I wasn't too appalled by that, because a lot of companies, you know, are basically Ponzi schemes. They just are Ponzi schemes that haven't been found out. And this is honestly, these schemes are one of the reasons why I really don't believe in prison, because I feel like people, you know, Billy just happened to scam the wrong people at the wrong time and have that stuff be blown up. That's why he's in jail right now. But these sorts of scams are not rare. I mean, we have the biggest fucking scammer in the world in the White House, okay? And he not in jail, and he's probably not gonna go to jail. So somebody was like, why are you saying free JT? I'm saying free JT because Donald Trump is in the White House. Until there is a complete overhaul of our criminal justice system where the biggest scammers go to jail for the most time, it's free JT. Free everybody, let everybody out. That's how I feel. There was a point when they kept talking about all the money they didn't have and showing the emails and all of this, where I was like, a reasonable person would say, we can't do this, and commit bankruptcy. That's what the president did over and over again. He said, oh, oops, my bad, bankruptcy. But why wouldn't Billy, instead, to save himself, why wouldn't he do that? And I just think, you know, the clout, you know, it's about the money, but so much of it also had to be about the clout. What is my reputation? What are people gonna say? And it's like, look, a tarnished reputation is better than prison, but it's too late for that now. But that's It's too late. He's in prison. But you know, that's a lesson that we can learn. Just take the L and stay out of jail. Take the L and stay out of jail. I wrote again, why have you not canceled this, when they were talking about all of the money that they needed and the money that they were losing and the money they didn't have? I was just like, why are you pretending that this is gonna work out? It's not gonna work out. So not only were the funds completely mismanaged, it was completely just irresponsibly run from people who did no due diligence, no research. But when they are on the island and it's time to tell people where to stay, and you say, go find a tent, you didn't even think of a strategy for assigning people to these FEMA tents? I was just so shocked. And then Billy, you know, Billy the liar, had the nerve to talk about, well, we had lodging for 200 people, but we lost the box of keys. Now, Billy, it's too late for all that. We already know you're a scammer. We already know you are a liar. We already know there was no planning put into this. Why now are you trying to lie to us about this mysterious box of keys that was lost? Don't do that. I don't understand why he would do this documentary. I feel like, so I get a little bit of it. You want to have control over your image or whatever, but he didn't have control over this because he still came out looking real bad. But also, it just seemed like he wasn't really prepared, right? So at one point, he got indignant and kind of stormed off or whatever, but it just felt like you weren't prepared to come here and have an honest conversation about this. You were gonna try to restore your legacy or whatever, but it didn't work. So let's try it again in 6 years when you're back. Toward the end of this documentary is when I was like, oh, there's something wrong with this man. Because why on earth would you scam while you're out on bail? Who would do that? Why on earth would you do that? You already know that you're gonna have to pay all this money back. Why are you still scamming? It's like there's like a compulsion there. Something ain't right with Billy, okay? Because that don't make no sense. There was a little vignette where they talked about these huge scammers. So there was Billy and Elizabeth from Theranos. I think her name is Elizabeth Holmes, from this scam blood work company called Theranos. And there was another scammer, and I was like, oh, the magnitude of white scams, right? Theranos was at one point valued at billions of dollars. Billy ballooned the valuation of his company to like 100 million. It's like the scope of white scams is really remarkable. Like, it's incredible. And then my last note was, are we living in the golden age of fraud? Or are these frauds just being caught and prosecuted and beamed out more? Like, I wonder, do you think that our technology makes fraud easier? Have our behaviors changed because of technology? Or is it just now we have all of these platforms where the scammers can, you know, be put on the Summer Jam screen? I don't know the answer to that, but I love to have a conversation about it because I think that that's a really interesting thing. Now, on to the Fyre documentary on Netflix. I think I might prefer the Fyre documentary. I'm not sure. I like both of them. I think I might have preferred the Fyre documentary because there were more voices. I liked that. I don't know, maybe I just liked the angle that they took a little bit more. I really liked it. But then I saw somebody talking about the fact that the Fyre documentary was basically Jerry Media trying to absolve themselves of any responsibility. They were the social media company. That is why Fyre, the social media part, you know, from Jerry Media is why Fyre Festival even happened. They're the people who coordinated all of that influencer stuff and all of that strategy. And I'm not sure, 100% sure about this, but I understand the argument that they should have done due diligence. If you're gonna work for this company, you know, you're promoting something, you probably should check under the hood at some point. Because I'm pretty sure in the first one, Fyre Fraud, they talked about the people from Jerry Media going to the Bahamas and seeing that nothing was built. But you just wanted to collect the check. Now, they're not as culpable, obviously, as Fyre, but a little bit culpable. So you definitely felt them putting the spin in this documentary that was produced with Vice. And then I saw somebody say that a lot of the people who produced the documentary are also in the documentary, so that's kind of a conflict, you know. You're trying to profit from the story and you're trying to shape this. It's like you're trying to do too many things, your hands are in the pot, but it was really well produced. So I wrote here something that I think was underlined in this documentary was how many people gave these frauds platforms. So many people gave them platforms, and it's just really a testament to how our society works so much on the honor system, but only some people's honor, right? So it works on the honor system if you're a white male and people assume you to be competent and to be a genius or whatever. But no, people of color are just not getting that leeway, right? We're not getting the benefit of the doubt in that way. So nobody is checking under the hood, checking these numbers, checking to see if things are legit for this man. He just gets to speak at South by Southwest. He gets to speak at Web Summit. He gets to be on TV you know, that random financier dude was like, I just looked at the numbers and saw this was a scam. Nobody was looking. Nobody was looking at the numbers. I liked that the difference between Fyre and Fyre Fraud was we didn't learn about the app, that platform, until the end of the Fyre Fraud documentary. And I think that is actually a really important part of this. So I liked that Fyre introduced it early so we can see what is the foundation of this? What is your motivation here? What are you trying to get to? Because then we see why Billy might have been so invested in like, nope, it has to go, we have to keep going, because that festival is linked to the health and the flourishing of the app, and the app is really what he's banking on. That's where the real money is, and I think that you have to have that detail early. So I also liked that in the Fyre documentary on Netflix, they played up Ja Rule's role, and I think that is appropriate. You cannot be out here calling yourself a co-founder and doing guest appearances on TV and sitting next to him at the festivals and then try to pretend like you didn't know anything. If you look on Ja Rule's Twitter right now, he's trying to say, oh, I was defrauded, I'm a victim, I'm this, I'm that, don't try to blame me, I'm just the rapper. No, because if this had gone right and people had just said, oh, you're just the rapper, you will be mad, wouldn't you? We will be hearing all sorts of, Ja Rule will be talking about all sorts of bigotry and hate and discrimination if this business had become a unicorn and been worth $1 billion and people try to play him down as just the rapper. But you want to be just the rapper when there's millions of dollars in fraud and people don't have a place to sleep and people are being sued. Oh, now you're just the rapper? No. That's not gonna work. I was so struck by, what did he say? This man, Billy Cunningham, said at one point, we're selling a pipe dream to your average loser. And I yelled at the TV, you're the loser. You're the loser. Like, yeah, that's what you're selling, but like, you're doing all this to distract us from the fact that you are the loser. I loved about the Fyre documentary, the behind the scenes of marketing. I think that is really interesting. Obviously, we're gonna get that because it's produced by the marketing company, but I like to see how the sausage gets made when you're talking about these influencers. Well, you can't, I guess they do influence people, so it's not this, but influencers getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for posts and posting in exchange for free stuff and all of that, and how manipulative it is. And obviously marketing and ads have always been about manipulation. I just like seeing the new iteration of it. After watching both of these documentaries, it really struck me that you've got to be so delusional. Like, you got to be arrogant to the point of near delusion to be an entrepreneur. I think you really do. To be an entrepreneur and to be a politician, you have just got to think that your shit does not stink. Now, that is a valuable trait when you're pressing on and nobody believes in you and you have this idea and you have a vision, but it can sink you. And we see how it sunk him. It's hard to know when to jump ship when that arrogance is so often rewarded, and especially rewarded if you're a white man. I mean, look, I think something ain't right with Billy, but you know, this delusion and it's all gonna work out fine and plug in your ears and stuff, we see it work out for other people all the time. Other white dudes all the time. Donald Trump is the president. Donald Trump is the president. Sorry, we're just gonna take a short detour here. But you know, after the Grab Them by the Pussy tape came out, and all these people were like, nope, he's gonna lose 100%, he's gonna lose, he's gonna lose. And even, you know, some of his advisors were like, he was gonna lose. He didn't lose. He didn't lose. Because that stuff is not a deal breaker. It increases your gravitas if you are a white dude. Billy was a great salesman, but not so good at being a businessman. If he was the person in charge of the money, the math doesn't math. Billy, what are you doing? The math don't math. Are you looking at, I mean, obviously he knew because he was, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul and forging valuations and lying and all of that stuff. That's why he's in prison. But it's just like, you're delusional. And this is where that arrogance really is the downfall. Like, when they were talking about the original island, it was supposed to be on an island that was Pablo Escobar's former island. And if the man said, don't say Pablo Escobar, why would you do that? You just thought he was gonna let it go? It's like, if you are socialized to believe the rules don't apply to you, this is what you get. And whoever on that island was like, I said what I said. You must not be able to hear, but we're not going to be doing any more business. So one of the reasons why I liked Fyre so much is we got more insight from the Bahamian workers. It's really important for us, the viewer, at least for me, to not just think of this as, you know, being happy because rich white people were getting scammed and we learned that influencing is a scam, but also to think about the fact that this really fucked up people's lives. You know, that poor woman who was supposed to be getting the catering contracts for 5 years, she was genuinely hurt. And not hurt just as in a my feelings are hurt way. Her livelihood, her means for survival and existence were put in jeopardy by the incompetence and by the greed. I think it is really, really important for us when we're talking about these scams to not just view them as like fun and games or whatever, you know, like a true crime podcast, but also just think about the real toll. All of those workers who are never gonna see no money for their work, that's people's lives and livelihoods. The fact that Billy was able to keep raising so much money, you know, I hear venture capitalists say all the time, investors say all the time that they don't invest in ideas, they invest in people. And we have to think about how much bias comes into play. I talked earlier about how white men are assumed to be, and women, white people are just assumed to know what they're doing and be trustworthy and people that you want to throw your money behind. And these investors were not even remotely interested in just like doing a little checkup, do a little drive-by. For me, the biggest lesson of both of these documentaries is just being able to say, wow, I fucked up. I am in too deep. Because when you try to cover up after the fact, that's when, you know, like I said, I feel like this would not even be a thing if in March, right before the April Fyre Fest, if he just said, oops, sorry. I mean, he would have been humiliated and like dragged, and his reputation would have been ruined. But he would not be in jail if he would have just said, wow, I did not think this through. I'm in too deep, sorry. And also, I don't have any money to pay you back, bye. And file bankruptcy. But just the inability, and so many people in this documentary were like, I tried to tell him, I tried to tell him, I tried to tell him. That weird thing of, there's like a culture of, we just focus on positivity. Well, you know what? Sometimes you need to focus on negativity. Sometimes the negativity outweighs the positivity, and that's what we need to focus on. I have a lot of mentors, and I appreciate them and think that they would do a lot for me. I don't have a single mentor who would consider doing a sexual favor to help my dying idea, to help an idea that they already knew was shitty. This story about Andy getting ready to suck the dick, Andy, you're foolish. Y'all are all foolish. Everybody in this fucking story is foolish. And I want to say that I commend him for being willing to take one for the team. No, y'all are all dumb. Y'all are all dumb, and you get so much money to be dumb. When some of the people who were interviewed talked about what was happening to them on the island after they arrived, and one of the dudes, the Asian dude, was saying like, we didn't want anybody around us, so we destroyed the tents, and we started looting, and we peed on, and I'm like, why would you do that? You are a bad person. That's why I don't feel bad for y'all. I'm good. Y'all got scammed. Grant also is delusional. My final notes were Ja Rule came out of this looking so bad, much worse than in the Fyre Fraud documentary. When after the shit hit the fan and he's being recorded on the conference call saying, that's not fraud. Yes, it is fraud. I believe in the only thing that you can't come back from is death. I genuinely believe that. So you dust yourself, you fail, you have to fail, you dust yourself off and you try again. But again, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars owed to the Bahamian people, a completely flat out broken promise, and you visited this island more than once. You didn't ask the right questions. You weren't interested in doing your due diligence, asking the right questions. You looked around and thought you were gonna get all the praise and didn't want to do any of the work. That's what Ja Rule did. It don't work like that. Not if you want to get co-founder credit. It don't work like that. If you just wanted to attend, that's one thing. And now the idea that he's trying to do another festival, I swear to God, if y'all give your fucking money to Ja Rule, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Be broke. Stay broke then. The only people who really deserve our sympathy out of this whole thing are the people of the Bahamas. They got scammed. Their resources were used up. They were promised these things. I bet that they, thought that their lives were going to be changed and improved for the better. And when the Fyre Festival people were like, we thought we were gonna get kidnapped, I was like, well, I wouldn't blame them. You can't be playing with people's lives like that. It's not okay. And then back to when he was already indicted, he was still scamming, still selling tickets he didn't have. It's like, why? And then inviting people over to film him? Billy, you know you're scamming. Why do you want to get your scams on tape? Why do you want to document your scams for posterity? I don't understand. Help me out. That was a wild ride. So thanks Black Twitter for inspiring me to watch those videos. Lessons were learned, points were made. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I made a companion video that's up on Patreon now about the things that I do not judge women for anymore. On my last video about the twerk video, there were just so many just judgy comments, and I'm just like, look, I used to be just like you. I used to judge women for doing all sorts of stuff, but I let it go because it's not my business. It's not helping me. It's not helping me get free. It doesn't impact my life. So I can just let people be people. And also because most of us live in the gray area. So that's what I talked about there. Buy some merch. Join the email newsletter. send me an email, leave a comment. Again, sign up for Patreon because y'all are great and so supportive, and I just try to give y'all my best over there, and I just appreciate all of the great feedback that you've given me, really. Thank you guys. Bye.